All right, guys, just need to get your feedback on some of the things we're looking at with regard to the Chromebook use and its appropriate use here at school for a learning tool. We're going to start off with just some simple definitions. The first is these are some of the things that we are doing with students who have not exhibited the greatest constraint in using their Chromebooks in class. Restriction, limited access, loss of privilege, and home restriction. Home restriction can happen at any time. That means, if we see them not using it for its intended purposes while they're not at school, we will just have them leave their computer here in the library. Where I think you guys will be most interested is the restriction, which means the kids will still be able to carry it from class to class, but they'll have to give it to the teacher or put it in a designated area in the classroom and only use it when necessary for schoolwork. Then we have limited access. Limited access means that the Chromebook is actually going to be kept in the library and the student will not carry it from class to class. However, if you need that student to have that Chromebook, you would just sign them a pass to the library. They would go return their Chromebook, and at the end of the class, you would send them to return it again. And then there's loss of privilege, which we hope we don't have too much of, but that means that the students will not have access to the Chromebook during the day. So that kind of helps us get that context of what we're trying to talk about. But also, how do we respond as a staff? So the first part of this is the egregious part. That's pretty simple for us. If they make a mistake amongst any of those things, then it's an automatic referral. You guys call home, say what happened. We call home eventually, give the consequence. But what we're seeing much more of are these day-to-day infractions. And what we'd like to establish is some consistency, so we need your feedback. So if you look through this, the first offense is the teacher would give a warning and remind them of the oath that they signed. We're going to do that again. We're going to have them record their voice in doing that. And then at any time, any teacher can go ahead and limit that use. In other words, saying, okay, Greg, when you're in my class, I want your Chromebook on the windowsill. Only use it when we're using technology. Perfect. Perfectly within your right to do that. The second offense, okay. So now you're going to email or call my parents and say, this Greg has done this again. This is the second time. So now when he comes in, he must put his Chromebook in a designated area in your classroom. The third offense, now that is an FYI referral to the administrators. Once we get that referral, we will meet with the student. We will have the student call home, and the student will say something along the lines of, this is the third time I've been using my Chromebook in ELA class inappropriately. And so now I have to put it on the teacher's desk when I go into class. And I also know if I do it again, I will receive one of the following consequences, which can be lunch detention, after school detention, video reflection. We can talk more about that if you need to. Obviously, we will identify where they are, the restriction, limited access, or loss of privilege, and home restriction. So those are some of the ideas we're thinking about. What we want your feedback on is that idea of the first offense. As a classroom teacher, do you want to be able to give a warning to every one of your students? Or do you want it to be, if you give a kid a warning in ELA class, you want all the other teachers to know? If we do, we can click on this link here, and we can see where we can create this. I guess the feedback is this. As a classroom teacher, I probably want to give my warning first. And even if that student gets a warning in math, ELA, science, and social studies class, I still want to give them a warning. And if it happens again in my class, I would initiate step 2, then step 3. I wonder if this just isn't more work than it needs to be. But nonetheless, what we'd like to do is get your feedback on that. And so how do we want to do that? Do we want to do it per student or per class? So if you could ask your colleagues, that'd be great. And then we hope to present some of this on at the faculty meeting in February. Thanks.